But the Hebrew word lev in the Bible sometimes means what we would call today the ego mind. So, for example, it says in the Torah, "Lo taturu acharei levavchem," don't go following after your hearts. That would be an odd thing to say to somebody, don't follow your heart. But in the Bible, the word lev does sometimes mean the seat of moral intuition and the conscience. But other times it seems to mean the realm of feeling, the realm of emotions, or what we would call the ego mind. The part of ourselves that's not rooted in morals and in virtue and in values, but the part that's trying to make the world safe for the realm of the ego. So it says, Kol yetzer machshavot libo, the shaping inclinations of his heart, of his mind, is bent on evil all day long. Rak ra kol hayom. So this phrase in the Bible, in Genesis chapter 6, gave form to the rise of an expression found throughout rabbinic literature and all Jewish spiritual literature since then, called the Yetzer Hara, the destructive urge, or the shaping toward destructiveness, or the evil inclination. So when we think about Jewish spirituality, we're thinking, at least minimally, at its most fundamental form, we're thinking about the fact that we human beings have a neshama, a deep part of ourselves. In religious language, you might say, is the aspect that connects us with God. In more humanistic language, you might say the aspect that connects us with our higher selves, with our deepest, most true, most noble selves. Then another part of the human being, which is called the Yetzer Hara, the part of us that doesn't care about value, that doesn't care about principle. I mean, think about yourself when you're angry at someone. I see people all the time that in their neshamas they really do love somebody, they really care about somebody, but then they get angry, they get upset. Some need isn't met. They don't feel seen. They don't feel heard. They don't feel that they're regarded by another. Now, if you ask the soul what they want, in the deep-seated values, they say, "Well, I want this relationship, and I want it to go well, and I want to love." But what comes up in the Yetzer Hara is anger and resentment, and sometimes fury. So it's as if the Yetzer Hara doesn't know what the soul really wants. What the soul really wants is love. The Yetzer Hara wants revenge. The Yetzer Hara wants to lash out. So people do things and say things that later they're ashamed of it. Later they don't understand why they did it, and they become so angry that what they really want, they end up destroying. And in my life as a rabbi and a teacher and a counselor, I see over and over again people who have this conflict between, you might say, what they really want in their lives, and I take that to mean the truest, deepest part of themselves. What they really want is lives, again, of love and fairness and righteousness and lives of beauty. But they behave in ways that seem to conspire to drive those experiences out of their lives. So Jewish spirituality for me has to do with this essential conflict, this essential duality of human experience, the realm of the neshama and the realm of the Yetzer Hara. And in following talks, what I hope to do is outline in a very precise, rational, understandable way how to make the realm of the neshama dominant in our lives, how to minimize the damaging habits of the Yetzer Hara. And a few things happen. One thing that happens when we focus on the realm of the neshama on an interpersonal level, we're really able to conduct our lives according to our values. We're able to live lives of love. We're able to be fair and righteous people and bring fairness and righteousness into the world. We're able to make room for the apprehension of beauty and to live lives of truth. For the religious among us, there's something else that happens as well. It's as if when we minimize the power of the Yetzer Hara, the ego mind, and we're able to contain those urges, those destructive parts of ourselves, we also have a greater capacity for the experience of God. Many people tell me they don't believe in God. And sometimes what I take that to mean is that their lives are so noisy, their lives are so unmanageable internally, there's no room for the divine. So for the religious among us, I when I think about belief in God, I don't take that to mean belief in a proposition, in a set of propositions about God. I don't hold much stock in theology that there's a set of propositions that you have to believe or not believe. I mean, I think theologically we go back and forth. I'm more focused in the experience of the divine, and I find that people who who are able to rest their consciousness in the realm of the neshama, the realm of the soul, actually make room for the experience of the divine. Now, for non-religious people, people who maybe don't believe in God, have trouble believing in God, and I'll talk about that at a later moment as well. What this work does is it helps you maintain contact with what most in the humanistic tradition would call the higher self. I mean, even people who don't believe in the divine and don't believe in God, they know the distinction between being trapped in the ego mind and having access to the higher self. So spirituality means, for me, number one, living a more moral life, a life more in touch with your values, with your principles, a life of virtue. And at the same time, it's a life of greater meaning and greater depth, because you're able to live in sustained contact with the realm of the higher self, with the realm of the soul.